Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome back to our second session of 2. And you'll be with me till just up to 8 p.m. inshallah. And well, what's the show about? Questions and answers. We've not had any questions from you yet, so either you're extremely nervous or I'm answering the questions that you want answering, or there's nobody watching apart from my mum. Anyway, whoever it is, whichever of the three scenarios it is, it's all good, inshallah. The number, just in case you do need it, is 01274 2142. No, he's forgotten the number. 214299. I was taught this number as well. That is 21. Double 21 becomes 42, and then 999 will take the 9 off. I know it's a bit of a mathematical conundrum, but at least it's one way of remembering it. So 214299. But don't forget to dial the. Oh, do you still have to dial 01274 if you're dialing from a landline in Bradford? I don't think you have to do. Yeah. Oh, you from a landline you don't need to, but from your mobile you do need to put in 01274. Yeah, but if you're outside of Bradford, you unfortunate person that you are, then you do need to put in 01274 214299. So let me deal with those two big questions that I had, which I thought I would pick up after the break because they had a lot of information just in the question, never mind in the answer. So let's pull that up. Well, you can still call in. Don't be put off. 01274 214299. So here's the first one. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May Allah bless and reward you all and your work. I have a general question about Fajr and Isha prayer in summer. If Fajr and Isha do not enter, can we estimate times and pray with 12 degrees? We know that Fajr is at 18 and Isha is at 15. So for example, if the sun does not reach 15 summer, can we pray at 12, which is nautical twilight? Also, if the sun reaches 15 but not 18, can we estimate Fajr with 15? I'm just a layman and therefore I wanted to ask if I can use this method. I don't know if there's any ijtihad or fatwa from a scholar about this method, but it seems to me like a good solution. Also, it will make prayer easier in summer and there won't be so much hardship in times when prayer does not enter. Would it be permissible to use this method if Isha is actually entering but very late, like 12:45 or 1 a.m.? I hope you can help me, inshallah. This method, using 12 degrees nautical twilight when sun does not reach 15, is just an idea. I'm a simple layman with less knowledge. I'll be very thankful for your advice. Barakallahu feekum wa jazakullah khairan. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ameen, jazakumullah khairan for your kind words and your du'as. As you can see, my colleague has given you a link to some research work that has been done on this particular matter. And I know that you remarked that this may not be specific to your needs. In short, this is an issue of Isha in summer times. In fact, I answered the very same question just before the break. This is an issue. The reason why it's an issue is because of our geographical position on the planet and what happens during summer. So that is the issue. So there are numerous ways to try to circumvent that. The more sound way, the correct way, is to pray Isha when the Isha time comes in, and to pray Fajr when the Fajr time comes in. That is the most sound way that we do throughout the year. So why should we make any changes when it becomes summer? Now obviously we start to make these changes in summer because we start to find it difficult to pray Isha so late, meaning we have to stay up till 12 midnight or maybe even after midnight in order to pray Isha, and then Fajr an hour or so later, and then we're getting up early for work, for school, for college in the morning. So let me answer this in a general way rather than that specific thing, because this is just like you said, something you've just kind of concocted yourself, something you just made yourself. In short, pray Isha when it starts and pray Fajr when it starts according to the sound position. You can switch from 18 for Isha to 15, absolutely you can, but for Fajr you should stay at 18. You should not try to shift back. It is better to stay at 18, even though there's some scope for bringing it to 15 as well. Absolutely there is. And there's enough evidence for that. However, Fajr is rarely the problem. Isha is the problem. Now, I have made numerous options for people to accept in the research fatwa paper that I've written on IRTIS website, which I'm sure you're the same brother I spoke to recently about it. Find it, read it, and look at the possibilities. Pick a possibility that works for you, and then pose that same question to me again, and I will say to you whether you can use that or you can't use that. There's numerous ways you could go to sleep. I know it is disliked to go to sleep after Maghrib, but that is in normal circumstances. What we are doing is not normal circumstances. If anybody has an issue with that, then how can they not have an issue of praying Isha before its start time? So you cannot have a an unbalanced argument. Your argument must be sound. So if you hold it in one place, you must hold it in another. And we know that this is something disliked. Why? Because of the fact that the person may not get up from sleep. However, if you make the necessary arrangements, you can get up from sleep. You can pray Isha before Fajr start time. And then just wait, like we do Jama Suri. We can do Isha at its end time and Fajr at its beginning time. We can do that. So why don't we do Jama Suri for Isha and for, not Jama Haqiqi, but Jama Suri between Isha and Fajr. When Isha time is not coming in at all, then we can pray when we wake up for Fajr as a qadha, because there is no possible way to pray as adha. So they seem two reasonable solutions. Many people say to me, yes, but that's easy if you're acting upon it on your own. What about if you're acting, what if you are running a masjid? I can't see why that would be a problem if even when running a masjid. You can have Isha time, Isha Salah. You can have Isha Salah. It's always good to get interrupted whilst you're there. You can have Isha Salah just before. So for example, let's just pretend that Isha Fajr starts at 1:05. So you can have Isha Jama at 12:50, 12:55, and then Sunnat's Witr, and then Fajr Adhan at 1:05 whenever it starts, and then pray your Fajr. Obviously, maybe that's a bit too close. Maybe start a little bit earlier, so at least you got a little bit of play time in the sense of after the Isha, you have some time, and then you will pray it. As I said, take that on board, and then inshallah, come back to me with that. Assalamu alaikum. I pray that all are well and is at the best health and iman. Dear Mufti Sahib, since I am from the same location, I want to acknowledge that there are also 12 degrees Isha reaches up to 12 p.m. in summer. I found a good solution to this difficulty after some research, but actually could get no Mufti to advise on it in detail. Please, maybe you can advise us on the following points. If we take 80 degrees for Isha until it becomes later than 9 p.m., then after transition period, we take 15 degrees up to a third of the night. Then it would reach up to 10:55 p.m. Thereafter, we adjust the prayer times, but so that it will not be less than 12 degrees until persistent twilight. In between, during persistent twilight, we do taqdeer, like approximately 1/6 of the night, so it will match in beginning and end of the period with 12 degrees. Like this, Isha will not be later than 11:06 p.m. and before and after persistent twilight, Isha will not be less than 12 degrees. Also, my question, our ulama gave fatwa on 15 degrees for Isha. Barelvi Hazrat and also some Shafi Hazrat give fatwa on Isha at 12 degrees. As you probably know, they divide the Shafaq in 3, Ahmar, Asfar and Abyad. So they take only the red color as Shafaq Ahmar. Dr. Asim Yusuf therefore suggested a solution. If we take actual Isha at Shafaq Abyad and use Shafaq Ahmar only when it is late, in our case first 15 degrees and then 12 degrees, then when Shafaq Ahmar gets too late, we go back to Shafaq Abyad, which is not entering due to persistent twilight, so we do Taqdeer. Like this, we could have ease and would pray according to a valid time according to some ulama, using it only for Haraj, until persistent twilight, in which we do Taqdeer because 18 degrees does not enter. Also, we avoid other methods where Isha is prayed before actual time, very early in the year, and we would also avoid that someone prayed Isha at 11 p.m. and then stayed awake while 15 degrees Isha time enters, and then he repeats his Isha again because of fear in his heart. Apologies for this message, but this topic is going on for years, but there is no agreed upon solution for us laymen. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I think what you need to do, brother, I can understand what you're trying to say, but I would suggest what you do is this, is that if you make a timetable for a year using your own locality, and you give a timetable both according to 18 degrees, 15 degrees, 12 degrees, and then also what you are suggesting, and you email it to me. My email address is in the group details at the top. Email it to me, inshallah, and I will look over it. So if you can please do that, then that would work out better. Reading this and trying to make sense of it in my head, I can understand what you're trying to say, but I like to play with numbers, I like to see data, I like to see facts and figures, and then I can come back to you. And also, if you can give your justification as to why you are adopting or suggesting a particular position. Jazakumullah khairan. I hope I can demonstrate to you that as ulama, we don't say something is fixed. We are always open to more discussion, more deliberations, and more understandings, so that we can at least overcome this situation that we find ourselves in, being in the northern latitude that we are in. That deals with all the questions that we have received on the gents group. We've got one last question. I'm just conscious of the time. Jazakallah khairan. As I mentioned earlier, the perfumes were gifted. They were purchased from abroad and brought back to the UK. I will forward some images of the ingredients. Is there going to be a problem with the ethanol content be so high? What would you advise with regards to gift? Use it or discard it? Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Please don't send any images. You can use it. There's no problem. You do not need to discard it. Reason why I say don't send any images, because then this group will get inundated with images and we don't want links or images, just questions. Jazakumullah khairan. That then does with all of those queries that we received. Let's see what we have in the box of emails. So as my colleague looks into the box of emails, let me just get an eye on how much time we have, Adil Bhai. Sorry, how many? You're missing them. I'm just saying in minutes. It's better now. Now I heard it. You see, I think you're pressing the button and speaking. It's okay. That's enough time. Remember the phone number 01274 214299. Dial it. What's wrong with you people? What's happening at home? Ruling on raising funds to cover expenses of condolence period. Okay. So I'm understanding from this sort of title, rather than a full question, that this is referring to a time when a person passes away and the family are now having to deal with the ta'ziyah. That's the Arabic term, the Sunnah term for it, ta'ziyah, which is to basically sit at home and grieve. Okay, this is the legitimate method to grieve. We are allowed to put life on hold to a certain extent and grieve, come to terms with the loss. Now, as Muslims, we have to understand that death is part of life. Death is just a vehicle to leave this world to go to the next world. We should not be shocked at it. We should not be surprised at it. We should not be taken aback by it. If we are, then we have some issue because we've not really understood what the purpose of life is. Muslims know that the purpose of life is the hereafter. The dunya, the world, is just a passage that we go through. A bit like when we were a fetus inside our mother's womb. Then we had an aspect of life that we were in, and that's the way we lived our life then. Then we've lived in this world, and then there are other paths to take as well. So that's what always surprises me and always shocks me, is the surprise and shock of a person when somebody dies. It's the most guaranteed thing that's going to happen to you in life, is that you're going to die. That's the most guaranteed thing. Are you going to go to uni or not? You don't know. Are you going to get a degree or not? You don't know. Are you going to get married or not? You don't know. Are you going to have children or not? You don't know. Are you going to be wealthy or not? You don't know. Nothing is guaranteed apart from death. Death is the most guaranteed thing in life. It's the only guaranteed thing in life. So no, that shouldn't come as a surprise to us. And that's why as Muslims, we should be preparing for what comes after. So we are allowed to grieve for those 3 days. We can put life on hold to a certain extent because we're human as well. We're not robots. Okay, we can't switch emotions off. We are emotional. We have emotions. Therefore, as much as we prepare for it, obviously, losing a loved one will hurt us. It will affect us. That person that was around us, that person who we spent time with, that person who was there for us is no longer there. And that is going to take time to come to terms with. They always say time is a good healer. And over time, we do come to terms with it. Yes, we never forget the person, but we're not the same like we were on the day 1, like we were on day 7, like we were on day 20. You know, over time, we come to terms with it because we accept that, you know, people move on. So people are not, they don't have time to work. They don't have time to earn money. So if a person is in a state of difficulty, can we raise funds? So what we need to do now is look at what does this raising funds mean? Okay, what does this raising funds mean? If raising funds means that you're going to give this as hadiyah, as a gift, then that's fine, because this can't be a sadaqah. Sadaqah can only be given to the poor. Sadaqah cannot be given to the rich. So if you wish to get together to give hadiyah, to gift somebody some money so that they can deal with expenses at this time of loss, then that's a good act. There's nothing wrong in it. But remember, gifting cannot be done under duress or compulsion. So for instance, if we find that siblings or extended family are putting some money together for a deceased to help a cousin or relative, it cannot be done in such a way that everybody is obliged to give it. And those who don't give it are looked down upon. That's not correct. It should be said that, look, we're going to get some money together because we know that this chap or this chapess was struggling financially, and it's going to cost a lot of money to get a plot at the graveyard, to get the janaza carried out, the bathing and booking all that, and then to transport the body. In a lot of places, alhamdulillah, I hear that there are many voluntary organizations that do this for free. May Allah bless them. They do this for free. Some don't, unfortunately. I know in Batley and Dewsbury, which is local here to Bradford, there are a number of organizations that do this for free for you. They in fact come and collect the body and everything. You don't have to pay extortionate amount of money to funeral directors. So therefore, it may not necessarily need that. And unfortunately, this is a rawaj which is so sad to see, that now there's dawats that take place at Taziyat. This is wrong. Okay, they shouldn't be doing this. They should be feeding the family who has lost a loved one. So yes, it is permissible to get some money together to help a person by gifting them some money if one feels that this will help with their costs. If it's going to fund an act of innovation, if this is going to fund something which is an innovative act, a bid'ah, then it is impermissible, because we cannot help people who are doing innovative acts, because then we become party to that and the sin comes upon us as well. Anyway, on that note, we are now coming to the end of today's questions and answers. We will be back as normal, inshallah, tomorrow, same time, same place. Slight difference is hopefully you will call in. To remind you of the number in case you've forgotten, but don't call in now, is 01274 214299. Write on a post-it note, ring in tomorrow. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.